accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, the Rockaway Borough Board of Education has provided adequate notice of this meeting to the public by having the time, date, and location advertised in the Citizen newspaper, posted on our website, and at Town Hall. Official action will be taken. Roll call, please.
Mr. Doherty? Mrs. Hernandez?
Here.
Ms. Virgillis?
Here.
Ms. Dahl?
Here.
Mr. Graff?
Here. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
This is based
Sure. I don't see any SGO students tonight, and that's fine. I think there'll be a bit of a theme with some of our reports that we talked about. There were only 7 school days between the last meeting and now, so there's a couple of reports that are light. I think that probably goes for them too, and this is the first day back from spring break. So we'll move right along to the superintendent's report.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to start off with something. It's almost like you talked about, like the elephant in the room, just so we could address it. Ms. Schoolmeal, our principal at Lincoln, has handed in her resignation. I know she sent out a letter to families this afternoon. The board found out today as well. So it's going to be a loss for us. Obviously, it's a life-changing situation for her, so it's good for her. And I don't want to speak for everybody. I'm sure they'll say the same thing, that I'm happy for her, that it's a family move, it's a personal thing. But it's something that we're going to have to, big shoes to fill, I think. And, you know, I know that I'm going to miss her, everything that she's done here, and a lot of positive change. I'm actually not even that ready to speak about it, so I'll probably mention more at our upcoming meetings. But, you know, I think they're big shoes to fill. So we'll figure it out. It's actually not on the agenda, but I'm going to ask to add it because we did a revision, but based on when we got everything and, you know, the timing, I think, of the break and things, it is what it is. So we're moving forward, and we will figure it out, and I'm happy for her and her family. Besides that, I hope everybody had a good break. There's only been 7 school days in between our meetings. I think we had this meeting so we could get our preliminary budget into the county, just because there's a lot to submit to them in terms of backup documents and things like that. But the actual budget does not get approved until our next meeting, which is May 5th. And that's when that will be approved. There'll be a presentation. I think we're going to, you know, really take a close look at our presentation, how we do it, and you know, I do think we've included a lot of information in those presentations over the last few years, but because our situation has changed and because we're dealing with some financial difficulties that we've had over the last 2 years, that we're going to try to put as much information. And I know we've received a lot of feedback. There's been a lot of comments about maybe you could add this, maybe you could add that. So if anybody has any suggestions, reach out to us. You know, make a comment tonight. We're happy to take that into account and possibly put it in our presentation. I think we're going to probably, I don't want to speak for Mr. Graff, but I know we're going to have at least, you know, probably 2 finance committees before the next meeting, finance committee meetings, and we'll probably take a close look at that, you know, the information we want to share. We want to make sure people understand. It's a lot. I remember doing, you know, going through this in another district, and really having to explain things that, you know, even people that work in schools don't understand. You know, the different laws and things that have to do with the budget. It's different. It's different than corporate. It's different than how a municipality runs. Our year is different in terms of calendar year versus school year. So we just want to make sure that we share, you know, as much information as we can and people understand. As everybody can probably see, there's a lot of other districts in the state of New Jersey that are in, you know, bad shape. You know, obviously things have to be fixed, but it's something that, it doesn't make you feel better that other people are going through things like that, but it does, I think, make you understand that it's yes, there were some concerns here that we're addressing, but there's things that a lot of districts are experiencing, and things need to be changed, and I don't have all the answers for that, so, it's that balance of trying to be fiscally responsible, but providing our students, the best education and experience that they can have, so we're trying to take a lot of the feedback that we're getting into account. One of the things that, I'm just going to mention some of this, one of the things that came up at the recent meeting was, and I don't know, we could call it a different term, different things we may do for what used to be called character education. So I asked Mr. Samuels, specifically I think we were talking about TJ, some of the things that we've done at TJ over the last few years, and I'll probably say the last 2 to 3, Mr. Samuels is in his 3rd year. Kindness ambassadors in grades 4 to 8. We do peer mentoring in 7th and 8th. We do what used to be called PBSIS, positive behavioral incentive programs. We have Rambuck, student of the month. We do different service learning projects, 2 different food drives, and we're open to other organizations that may want to do them, especially if that's our students that are involved in them. We do the Week of Respect in October, which is kind of something that the whole state does. And then we really do use NJ4S services, which are the Tier 3 counseling services, small groups and presentations, and Governor Cheryl, I can't remember the name of it now. Mr. Haynes, do you remember the name of that?
No.
Yeah, there's a name, they're changing the name, so they're just changing some of the way that but she is putting a priority on that, so I was happy to hear that. And as we know, mental health is something that we want to, make sure we're addressing. We want to make sure that students are good citizens. We have, everybody comes from a different background, different culture, different traditions at the home. We want to just make sure everybody is respectful to each other. I mean, I can say that for adults too, but we just want to make sure we're doing what we can for our students. So in saying that, we do have something on the agenda. We have a leadership workshop that is really for mostly 8th grade students, championship culture, and they kind of have these breakout rooms and sessions. So we're looking to do that April 17th. We have some additional grant funds available in our ESSA grant, which is Title I funds, and it might be Title I, not Title IV. It could be in either category, but this is Title I carryover that we have. So we wanted to do something for that. Last year we had, he's on social media if you look him up. I think maybe Instagram, the kid with an IEP. He was a speaker here last year, did a presentation. And we're open to anything else. So it's definitely something we've been talking more about, but I guess I can also ask that if anybody does have students at TJ, reach out to the principal if there's a concern. We try to keep things, we don't try, we keep things confidential. And we don't want any student to, at the end of the day as a parent, I think you just want your kids to be happy. Obviously want them to do well in school and have success, but I think what you really want is for them to be happy when you see some of the things that kids are dealing with, that families are dealing with. There's a lot going on in the world. The political world is a lot of things are going on. So anything that we can do to make that to make this place a more comfortable place for kids, we're open to. So open to any suggestions. Obviously things cost, but there are things that we can do on our own, things that we do for free. And I just want to mention it because we can always do better, but there are things that we do. And in addition to that, we do have what should be done in any school is different code of conduct meetings in the beginning of the year with students where Mr. Samuels and sometimes parts of it are Mr. Haig going to different classes, whether it's phys ed or I think it's usually phys ed that we do that, where we talk about expectations and things like that. So if there's any concerns with that, please reach out at any time. I guess the only other thing I have is state testing coming up, first 2 weeks of May. Make sure kids get a lot of rest. The whole way that they're doing state testing is changing. We've kind of pivoted in how we were thinking we were going to do it because there's been some concerns because these tests are personalized. There's really no way for a teacher to know or a proctor to know, who's usually a teacher, to when the halfway point is. So different schools have had different issues. I think we've gotten a lot of feedback from a lot of high school districts that have had testing already and how that's went down. So I think we have a good way of doing it. I think we have a good idea of how to do it, but we'll see how it goes. And I'm curious to see what the following year looks like, what that comparison is going to look like, because it's going to be individualized. So I'm assuming it's going to be based on growth. They haven't really gotten into that much in terms of, you know, where I was last year to where I was this year. I think that's really, which I like, you know, I think that's important. You know, where was the student, where are they now? As opposed to like, you know, this is, you know, you get a 4 or you don't. So I think there's good things going on. Spring season starting. Hopefully it's warmer next week than this week. And reach out if anybody has any questions. Oh, sorry.
I think, did we list out of order? I think we were trying to go with Dr. Guzmano next for board secretary's report, and then we'll wrap up with the board members. I don't know if you have anything.
No.
Okay. All right, so board reports, starting with Mr. Daugherty.
You want to pass the mic? Just the mic.
Just the microphone.
All right.
I am the stand, I am stand. Those are
Going to look for it. Is that better? All right. First, before I start, obviously I want to congratulate Principal Scobio on her next venture in life, and I think I'll speak for a lot of us saying thanks for leaving Lincoln better than you found it, and we definitely appreciate all your work. Best of luck. So I'm going to do the tech report and the rec committee report. I'll start with the rec committee. I was at the last rec meeting, which was a couple weeks ago. Pretty much practices for both soccer and baseball started this past Monday. The first games for both sports will be on 4/18. During that meeting, Mr. O'Connor did ask me to speak a little bit to introduce myself, and one of the things I brought up was volunteering, because I feel like that's been a big topic of conversation at these board meetings, whether it was with the play, HSA, just in general, us always saying more people needed to get involved, and I kind of relayed that message at the rec committee, pretty much saying, try to get involved in whatever you can just to help out, even if you think you don't know anything about a sport or activity. Extra help of hands always help out, and the kids and community definitely appreciate it. Regarding technology, right now, Mind's Eye's in the prepping the equipment. Administration and Mind's Eye decided to kind of hold off on any physical installation and cut over until after testing, since these are computer-based date testing. We didn't want to risk, the district didn't want to risk any chance of an issue, which is normal. Installing new hardware, you don't want to do it during the most important time, which right now would be state testing. Some of the upgrades are going to be the firewall, core network upgrades, the firewall switches, other switches at the school, the virtual environment, and then after that, they're going to upgrade a bunch of applications on the server. And that's all I have.
Hello everyone. Of course I was down at the school room. Of course I was very emotional about it, very upset, but I just wish her the best because she did revamp the weekend. So I want to give an update. This Friday, the SGO is hosting a carnival dance. So 4th and 5th graders from 3 to 4:30, and then 6th to 8th graders is 6 to 8 p.m. And the cost is $5 per kid, and of course, just send the kids with cash, because they're going to be selling snacks for $1. I'm going to give an update on TJ. Montclair Art Museum students participate in a collaborative field trip with Morris Hills to the Montclair Art Museum. And he wants to say thank you to Morris Hill. It was a great, meaningful trip for the students. Also, April 13th marks the ending of the marking period 3. Ms. Eisenberg will be returning back to Lincoln, and Mr. Stratt will provide music instruction and concert preparation for all students at TJ. The spring concert for TJ, May 19th, for grades 6 to 8 in the evening at 7 p.m. And then May 21st, grade 4 and 5, the concert will be at 9 a.m. That's all I have.
echo everyone else's sentiments to Principal Scomio. Tennessee is a great place, but New Jersey is going to miss her a whole lot. And wish her nothing but the best, and hopefully she'll have success. I know she practiced with some chicken eggs, right? Did they have some chicken? Yeah. Okay, so I've got the Director of Curriculum and Instruction update. First, let's talk about testing, since that seems to be on trend right now. April 13th, Mrs. Argenziano is going to host a district-wide NJSLA training session for all staff members. That, in all hopes, will quell any concerns of any staff members who have to be a test proctor or administrator. And then following up on some of the things that Dr. Greco said, I will share with you the new testing schedule, which seems to make a lot of sense. First of all, there's the infrastructure trial on April 22nd, and I love the little reminder on the whiteboard over there. I think that's a nice, helpful hint. And just a note to parents and students, please make sure that you come to school with a fully charged Chromebook on April 22nd. That's really helpful, even for the infrastructure trial. And then testing starts May 4th. Hopefully the force will be with you. So May 4th, the 4th through 8th grade students will take the writing portion of the NJSLA. May 5th will be the 4th through 8th grade reading in the morning and then in the afternoon as well. And the 6th, there will be no testing. That day will be used for makeups, and it will be a break day for students so everybody can take a breather. May 7th, 4th through 8th grade math, morning and afternoon, and no testing on the 8th unless needed for makeups. Again, offering a break for kids. I think that's a really smart schedule. May 11th and 12th will be 5th and 8th grade science. So science is tested only on the 5th and 8th grade levels. And then moving on to the following week, May 13th, you have 3rd grade writing. And the reason that writing is its own testing day is because it's a shorter section of the exam, so it shouldn't take as much time. So that's the 13th. The 14th, 3rd grade reading in the morning and afternoon. The 15th, there will be a break day for no testing or makeups. The 18th is 3rd grade math, morning and afternoon. And it says testing in Lincoln is May 13th, 13th to 19th for just 3rd grade. And makeups, any more formal makeups will be May 20th through the 22nd. I am certain that updated calendar will be communicated to families. Dr. Greco, I think that's a recent change. Yeah, and there's only been 7 school days since our last meeting, so we've got to give a little bit of time for that information to make its way home. Okay, so then switching gears, at the last meeting we announced that the summer assignment is optional for everyone except for students entering 7th and 8th grade ELA plus. The summer learning site will open to the public on April 15th, so that's next week. Next week, Wednesday. There will be a, quote, plethora of learning opportunities for students who wish to participate in them. And that will be on all grade levels. So we invite all parents and students to check that out. but also give a friendly reminder to the 7th and 8th grade ELA plus classes that yes, there will be the expectation, there will be the mandate of the summer reading assignment, and that is a standard expectation in an honors level or an advanced level class. So that's what I have for curriculum and instruction. And then as far as the strategic planning committee is concerned, since we have only had 7 school days since our last meeting, we are still in the process of gathering or putting together our questions for the surveys that will be going out. We're going to be asking for teacher input on the teacher climate survey, and then we're also going to be speaking with the SGO and asking for their help in creating the student survey. And that's all I have.
All right, so congratulations again to Principal Scomiel and best of luck to her and her family. Wishing you the absolute best. You've done so much for our school community. You're really going to be missed. I'm personally going to miss all the phone calls I get from her. I'm sharing, she calls me a lot. I'm sharing an update on behalf of Principal Scomiel about Lincoln School. They are actively preparing for their 2nd annual talent show, which continues to be a great opportunity for student engagement and community connection. The spring concert was a big success, and our students did an outstanding job. A special thanks goes to Mrs. Gore for leading music instruction this marking period and preparing students so well, along with Mr. Bova for his continued support. We also appreciate the use of the Assembly of God Auditorium, which allowed us to accommodate so many families. And thank you to our 2 SROs for helping manage traffic and ensuring everyone's safety. In addition, Lincoln has launched a new yoga club for 3rd graders, and the HSA hosted another successful book fair. Looking ahead, there are several upcoming events, including Take Your Child to Work Day, the HSA Tricky Tray, the talent show that I mentioned later this month, and the NJSLA testing beginning in May, along with other end of the year events in June. For our finance committee, we did not meet in between meetings, but we did share a template for the public to write letters to our representatives on our website. I also personally shared it on social media. And just to give you kind of a bigger picture, and I think a few of us can echo the same thing, have constantly been checking in with other school districts experiencing the financial issues that we're having across the state. Districts across the state are in a really tough position. We're seeing places like Roxbury and Wayne proposing staff cuts and tax increases, not because they want to, but because fixed costs like healthcare, special education, and transportation keep rising. One article, and I wrote this down, described it as the financial perfect storm. With the takeaway, even with increased state aid, many districts are still facing what's being described as that financial perfect storm. But I think we're doing a really great job with just focusing on the importance of long-term planning and rebuilding our reserves, and being really thoughtful and thinking about our student-facing programs while managing these rising costs. I shared several webinars with the board from the New Jersey school boards. One was understanding state aid, that's actually for tomorrow. And then one's on like policy and cybersecurity. And that's all for me.
Thank you. Couple of quick things for me. I will echo the sentiments as everybody has commented and wish Mrs. Scomiel the best in her next adventures. We're certainly very appreciative of the work she's done here. And good luck. Our loss, certainly, but we wish her the best. The negotiations committee had a meeting with the RBEA. So the nature of those is you'll never really get any updates from me on the content of those, just that they're happening. That's the nature of negotiations. So we have, it was a good initial conversation. We've got a few more planned before the next board meeting, and that process will continue as normal. There's no facilities report, given the short amount of time in between the two meetings. Ms. Hernandez covered well some of the finance topics. I think we probably average, I don't know, every other day, article or two that we're trading over a 3-week period of some other district that's like in a different part of the cycle of where we have been, and for similar reasons, slightly different reasons, and all that kind of stuff. So it's certainly something we're watching while we focus in on what we need to do here. And that's what I have. That'll take us to board review of agenda items. On page, right, what, do we need to make a change to? So on page 5, number 7, letter C, just a clarification, incoming pre-K students tuition rate. So the word pre-K is not there, but that is the pre-K students tuition rate. Just pre-K.
The program is on.
That's from. And then we need to add 8G, following. Be it resolved based on the recommendation of the superintendent to approve and accept the resignation of Jennifer Spalding, principal of Lincoln Elementary School, effective June 30th, 2026. We just have like a copy formatting here. Yeah, they're quotes, but it's like there's a, whatever you copy was like a picture of HTML, which text or Google. Okay.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Highlight number 9, letter B on page 6, which is the revised calendar.
Sure. 9B.
Sure.
9D, there's a revised school calendar due
Yep.
to unused snow emergency days, so, Dr. Greco, is that revised calendar on the website?
As soon as we approve it tonight, it'll be on tomorrow.
Perfect, thank you.
I think,
Message will go
and do we have 26, 27?
on. 26, 27.
It went out in an email. It was approved, it went out in an email. I'm not sure if it's on the website.
It's probably not in our, we wanted to add it to one more spot, but it's probably in the meeting announcements.
Okay.
We wanted to kind of make it a little bit more, yeah, it's on the website under news and announcements when it first went out. We just want to make a little icon for that, so that's something our web has to be working on now.
So that makes the last day of school for this current year, June 18th, and a half day. That's,
And June 17th is TJ graduation.
Yeah, I don't know if that's been sent out yet, but that's probably gonna be the day for TJ.
it's on
Oh, it's
the
on there.
TJ website.
Okay.
Or on the,
Yeah, it's usually.
Newsletter.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the graduation date is actually gonna be a date. We use Morris Hills High School, so we usually have like 4 or 5 days, we have almost as many days as possible that we can get from them, but sometimes certain ones aren't available, so we try to get it as close as possible. It's actually worked out the last 3 years. Today it's gonna be, this year it's gonna be the weekend before school.
So then the 8th graders are expected to go to school the following day.
Yes.
Dr. Cusmano, the
School will be open.
the copiers, do those come in like as soon as we approve them?
We're expecting them to come in sometime in May.
Okay. Thank you. And that's new equipment for a slight savings, but brand new equipment, right?
The savings actually is larger than what you see in just there, because number one, we're getting print management software that'll be included that we don't have right now. There'll be 5 brand new machines, 4 of them will be color. And when I met with the principals, one of the things that came out of it was the special ed teachers were asking about printing in color, and this will assist with that, plus the actual monthly cost, including the print management software, is less by $2,000 or so a year. But more so, the savings also comes from the fact that once we have this in place, the district will not be supplying ink to those printers that are in the classrooms. And because there won't be a need for it. The ink itself is expensive. We pay roughly, I think, almost $8,000 for that service. And I don't think we're gonna be renewing it.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other? Comments or questions? That takes us then to the first public hearing, which will be on agenda items only. As a reminder, public comment will be limited to 3 minutes each. Please come to the podium to be recognized. And this first one is for agenda items, and there'll be another one for all topics that are not on the agenda after. Any public comment on agenda items?
So Jocelyn Hamilton, I'm just curious about the resignation of Mr. Lane. I know you can't really give details as to why, but it's just disappointing to see another specialist leave. So it brings up like concerns about retention of teachers in the district. Because my daughter's in 1st grade and her specialists just keep leaving or being cut. So I don't know what is the plan for the rest of the school year to replace Mr. Lane?
Thank you. Sure, I think without getting into too many personal details, it's another life-changing type of move that deals with personal matters and employment of spouses and things like that. It's not avoidable. We share the same concerns about retention. It's a topic that comes into play in a lot of the things that we talk about. I don't think that's not the case here. In terms of plans for the rest of the year, I'll let Dr. Greg go.
Yeah. We're currently talking about it right now in terms of the coverage for that and having a certified person in their students going to be 2 weeks. But as Mr. Kraft said, I know that's come up before, but it's definitely a situation that was ongoing. So I don't know if Mr. Lane, will want to share that at any point because it's nothing negative. It's just things that happen. But even with Ms. Schoolmill, she sent out a letter, which is not like a requirement. But it's, I think it makes people feel a little bit more at ease to know that they're, it's not somebody, again, not that there's anything against somebody leaving and going to another district, but it's different when it's life-changing and moving out of state, as she stated in her letter, which is really what I was going to comment on that. But just to reiterate what Mr. Graff said, I think, maybe he'll say something, but again, we just kind of want to balance that confidentiality. It's not for retention.
Thank you. Any other comment on agenda items? Okay.
Rockaway. I'm actually not sure if my comment is on agenda items, so you can stop me if it's not. Because you didn't bring it up. But my comment was on 9C. Does that come with an agenda item? Okay.
Nice.
The cost for home instruction and ADA for the students. I guess I wanted to, as a special educator, I just wanted to ask, can we do more in this district to provide more in-district services for SPED kids rather than like you contracting it out so much? Like I know that you are aware that you can bring in students into a program. I've worked in several districts that, you know, probably had similar paths that this district is experiencing where they were having to pay to send kids to costly private schools. And then they brought everybody back by making a better program for like multiple disabilities kids and having like more trained teachers. Like couldn't that be like a source of income for the school? And also, I guess I was also wondering, just in terms of this, like I know this company, but you know, did you get multiple bids? There's so many ABA companies around here. Did you ask, I mean, maybe this came from you, but also was this offered to a district teacher first to do
Yeah,
homeschooling?
we put out,
We did, okay.
so, and I mean, again, I wouldn't be able to show much more of
Yeah,
this
no, I'm just-
individually, but just in, you know, terms of respecting the privacy of the student, it's a student that.
I'm sure that there is like I'm sure that the severity level is.
Yeah, I shouldn't say.
No, yes,
Yeah.
I understand. I don't think that we need to like go
It's-
there
it's-
exactly, but I guess I'm more concerned about like, can we be using the staff that we have for these kinds of things rather than going to agencies that can set their own prices? And also there's ABA agencies here in Rockaway. Like, did you have to go to Fairfield? Like, I just would like you to please be doing your due diligence as much as possible to make sure that, yes, like that you're meeting needs and also that you're being like cognizant of rising healthcare and special ed costs. So, and you know, with that being said, that there probably is more we can be doing in town to train teachers better, to be able to work with a higher like level of severity with kids too. Like that probably is something, like I hope that's something that's gonna be talked about, because that I have noticed in other districts that's kind of the move. So maybe that could be a shared service that you do with Morris Hills or the township or something. Like, I don't know, but rather than spending $1 million in out of district placements and home care, like maybe that's like a way to pivot. So I just wanted to say those things. I also wanted to say, this is probably not an agenda item, but a 9 a.m. concert for TJ as a working parent is kind of the pits, and you make me have to take an entire day off of work to see my kid blow his trumpet. And I wish that they could be at night, and I understand you can't because of the contracts with the teachers, but at least when they were at 1 o'clock, I could do a half day. So I just like, I wish you guys would consider that we all have jobs here, and it's very hard to just take a whole day off, you know, for an hour concert. So I wish somebody would think about that. So, thank you.
Thank you. So, starting a couple of years ago, at least from my own personal experience in having these conversations, they're having conversations about how do we keep more students in district. I think that there is a legitimate space issue for some of the needs that we have. We talked about it. Could it be a source of income if we could do that? I think we have some space issues. I also think, without getting into any specifics, my understanding is that there's sometimes very good reason in the best interests of the student that other settings work as well. So I don't want it to be a pure budgetary decision all the time either, right? Like it shouldn't factor in. It's what's in the best interest. Do we have what's in the best interest? Can we get it? And I think those are conversations we should continue to have. I think a lot of times, some of what I know we are faced with, we have a bit of a space issue in addition to needing to talk about other training or other staff or whatnot. I can let you
Yeah, I
comment
just
on the
wanted
rest
to
of
say-
it. I do think it's a point well taken on the concert though. That's something that hopefully we can take back and think about.
Yeah, I can definitely comment more on that on the next meeting, but just going back to, so definitely noted, and I've been in other districts, and even here, we've taken in students and started new programs. I think in certain situations though, we can only put certain information on the agenda, and there might be an instance where a student may need more than one staff member with them. So, it might look like an amount that's a lot, but it might not just be a traditional, one-to-one setting. It might be a 2-to-1 setting or a 3-to-1 setting. And again, because we're so small and just in general, I can't really get into all those details. So, but again, like when we're reaching out to one of these, whether it's our staff, we're going to be very transparent about what the situation entails, and if that student is getting what they need. So it was posted internally, but they reached out to a number of providers to see, who would be willing to work with the student, and I think we have something. So yeah, it's definitely all noted, like it's definitely something we're always thinking about.
And that ends this school year, IMC?
I'm sorry?
That would end, like 13 weeks would end in
That
June,
would
but
end
not,
in June.
and then be reevaluated for September.
That would end in June,
Okay.
100%. End in June.
Mr. Brown, can I just comment
Yeah,
quickly as well, please?
Based on.
We have started having some of those sorts of conversations in the curriculum and instruction committee, because we also kind of tackle special education as well, just because it all works, it plays well together. And I know that we have recently approved training for paras to, Dr. Greco, to undergo some additional training that they didn't have before. So at least we're,
That's great.
yeah, we're heading in that direction. Yes, your comments are noted, but when we have our next curriculum and instruction meeting, we can ask some of the questions that you posed and see what kinds of answers we can get. But I do agree that the bottom line is what is in the best interest of the child, which I'm not saying we weren't implying, but it's sticky sometimes. So I just wanted to make that.
Thank you.
Any other comment on agenda items? All right, seeing none, I'll close the floor. And we will go to the consent agenda, noting the specification in 7C and the addition of 8G. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? Mr. Doherty. Roll call.
Okay, Mr. Doherty,
Yes.
Mr. Gillis.
Yes.
Mr. Graff,
Yes?
Ms. Dahl,
Yes.
Ms. Hernandez.
I have to recuse from 11A and yes to everything else.
All right, full pass.
All right. That takes us to our, any other new business or other items from the board? And that takes us to our second public comment section with all of the same criteria. Please come to the podium, state your name and municipality.
Mr. Graff, I did want to mention
Oh,
one thing.
sorry.
real quick. I'm sorry. I noticed on TJ's social media today, I believe, that we had a parent of a 4th grader who just returned from deployment, surprised her daughter at school today. A few months early. Okay, so I kind of proud a little bit. So I wanted to publicly recognize that parent for her service and thank her and her family as well, because it's a sacrifice.
Yes. Thank you. All right, is there anyone else who would like to make a comment? Seeing none, I will close the floor. Our next regularly scheduled meeting is Tuesday, May 5th, 2026, here in the TJ cafeteria at 7.
No, we're gonna change the time.
We're going to change the time.
Yeah, because we have the budget hearing and then the regular meeting to follow right after the budget hearing, to allow time for that. And then we will have Pontonian come and do a short little presentation too. So if the board is good with 6:30, if not 6 o'clock,
So the public, we want the public portion to start at 6:30.
yes.
Okay.
So that means exec will start at 5:30.
Or we'll just decide whether or not we need to go in there.
Okay, so we need to be here at 6:30.
6:30. Yeah. We'll figure out what exact topics there are, figure that out.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so do we need to change anything? Do we need to?
We need to advertise that on our website.
Just one change.
Yeah.
We don't have to.
There is no more requirement for that.
There's no more papers, so.
Right. You put it on the website, but we did have to register our web address to the state
Oh,
site.
that's right. So we're
So
good.
we'll do that tomorrow.
And send it out with
Yeah,
a
of course.
blast, with the updated time.
Yeah, I have it scheduled sent for the wrong time, I just want to word it the right way, so we'll work on it together.
All right, then. So our next meeting is Tuesday, May 5th, the public portion at 6:30 p.m. here in the TJ cafeteria. I do not believe we have a need to go back into exec. And so then I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion. Second.
That was, yes, Mr. Hernandez. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.